time to give a wonderful presentation. Again, we're thrilled to have a guest speaker, an expert in mental health. So Professor Joe Tech he's been at BC since 1980. Is that right?
I just got a letter from a student in Dallas, Texas, who saw my snow stress interview on NBC last Wednesday, and she said, "I liked your statistics course in 1973." And I almost fainted. And there's a dean at Boston College who took the same class.
Wow.
So anyway, I
A
confess,
real legend.
I'm old.
So his main interests are how the brain regulates attention and how the mind affects health during times of stress. And what's also wonderful is he teaches a range of courses on the topics he's going to be discussing today. For example, the psychobiology of mental disorders, the psychophysiology of stress, and stress and behavior in the psychology department. So I'm really thrilled to be able to introduce.
Thank you so much. And by the way, it's good to be here because I've got some things to tell you that are very, very important that impact on your students, as you can tell from that snow stress interview. And by the way, thank you for a nice choice in the summer. And Isabella. Isabella came out of nowhere to run this tape recorder tonight, as she did when I gave a talk to the Pembroke High School students 3 weeks ago. So let's give Isabella. This is going to present the slides. First a little joke, because I noticed there were several women in this class. Only a joke. Powers women. And the heck of it. Lady goes to heaven. St. Peter says, "You're a good lady, you deserve to be here." But you have a little test before you pass through the pearly gates. You have to spell the word. Okay, what's the word? Love. L-O-V. Good, you're in. I'm hungry, I haven't had lunch, I gotta take a break. Would you take over the gate for me? Oh yeah, I'll take over the gate for you. So he takes off. Up comes her husband. "Honey, I just had a heart attack and died, but here I am in heaven with you. Aren't I lucky? We're here forever. I know I never kept a job. I know I was drunk every weekend, and I yelled at you all the time. That's history. I'm up here in heaven with you." "Well, dear, you have to pass the spelling test before you go through the gates." "All right, what do you want me to do?" "You have to spell the word." "Okay, what's the word? What's the word?" "Czechoslovakia." I love that joke. So here we are, next slide. I'm going to go quickly, and forgive me, but you have the slides, and I'm always at my office from 1 to 3 on Wednesday if you want to stop by, but I got to move fast. I'm giving this all the time for 2.5 hours. I had to boil it down to 40 minutes. This is the main thesis of mental disorder, as you know. Genetics, environment. Diathesis means hereditary. Stress means environment. It's hereditary again. Thank you. Thank you. Joyce got it. Oh, wow. Oh, you're my gal. I'm going to stay over here. All right. I should have put something like you get it from your classmate or something. I thought, yeah, next slide. This is kind of interesting. There's a literary reference that really puts the finger on this. I call it the 3 Ps for mental disorder. You have a predisposition, something happens, bang, marathon bombing. And then something perpetuates it, the relationship with somebody you shouldn't be in a relationship with, keeps it going. Next slide. And I like this citation. I like poetry to give ideas about. You're going to see a lot of literary stuff coming up. Walt Whitman talking about Ralph Waldo Emerson, the guy from the Boston area who was always rebelling against society, which I like. Don't think outside the box. Thumb your nose at society. And when we do the meditation, you're going to see how that's thumbing your nose at society by saying, "I'm going to meditate, shut the lights and be quiet. Leave me alone." That's empowering. You made the decision to meditate for 10, 15 minutes. You said, "Goodbye, world." That's empowering, because what's stress all about? Loss of control. And when you control the game and you shut the lights, you're back involved. Next slide. I think we have this next slide. Now, I hate to tell you this, and usually this is not for students, but you guys are going to be in a situation, guys and gals, are going to be in a situation someday where you have a job where you're supervisor, you're going to be part of the staff, and you're going to have power. Don't like kings, power. Because I have come up with, not quite back to 1973, but 1979, these homework principles. They're kind of weird and off the top, but I want to get them out into the community. Next slide. Yeah. Stress in the workplace, where you're going to be someday. I call it the displacement effect. We're going to use that word in two different ways tonight, but this is one displacement effect. Next slide. People displace their unhappiness at home and come to work. I've experienced it in my department, where people in power, you know, I'm too much on TV, I'm too much visible in the community, and so, let's get that guy. And that's not fair, because that's not fair to the employee. Lady drove to work, lady told me she drives to work saying to herself, what am I going to say in response to the sarcasm of my supervisor today? That's what she thinks about all the time while driving to work. Nice. Next slide. Boomerang justice. If you use power to hurt people at work because you're unhappy at home, guess what? You go home and you're not going to do it metaphorically, and you meet disaster. I had no idea about this principle until this happened. I developed it after this happened. Next slide. Wow. On the 2nd anniversary of his father's fraud, this 46-year-old young man hanged himself just to show he was against his father's abuse of power. So Madoff, go back one, Madoff took $2 billion, I think it was, from people, and hurt a lot of people, and he went home and knocked on the door, and his son took his life away from him. So these two principles say, be good to people on the job, be good when you go to work, be good to your kids, your nieces, your nephews, because boomerang justice is alive and well in this society. You don't have to wait till you go up to heaven to spell Czechoslovakia. Next slide. I'm sorry to be so serious, but this is that okay? Well, that's good. This is first wealth is health. Oh yeah. How come? You don't think so because you're alive, vibrant, but when you get real old like us, health is very important. And a guy over in Wellesley, my friend in Wellesley, has $20 million worth of property. And he said to me one day, I would give up all my money if I could get off these drugs for my cancer. He said, they make me so groggy, I can't really interact with people. You know, the money's not important. Now, having said that, money is important. Money is not the root of all evil. The lack of money is the root of all evil. So money's important, but health is primary in many ways. Next. And this I like because it gets at attention. And this talk is going to be all about attention. Why? Because the attention process is the most important process in your life. And it will empower you to be free. That's what it's all about, paying attention. And that's why my meditation is called distraction meditation. Get rid of the distractions, pay attention, and you're on your way to not happiness, freedom. I almost said happiness, freedom. I like this. Shaw, the playwright, he and Churchill had a thing going, Prime Minister of England. He wrote a play, had a play coming up, and he said to Churchill, hey, you can come to my play if you want on the first night. And Churchill said, well, I'm busy, but if it stays on the stage for more than a week, I'll go to it. Sticking the needle in, play stay on the stage for months. So he stuck the needle in and said, your play's not going to make it. Well, it was on for a week, and Shaw sent him an invitation. He sent another invitation. Well, here's another invitation for you and a friend, if you have any. Next slide. So these big guys, prime ministers and poets, they all fight the same way we do. All right, stay alive. Next slide. Oops. That's good. We know we are programmed to avoid physical pain, because if you don't take care of that abscess, they cut your hand off. Not nice. But psychological pain is the same way. We are programmed to avoid psychological pain, because if we don't, we jump off the roof. Therefore, all of this talk is about avoiding stress pain, minimizing stress pain, because you can't avoid it. Next slide. Stress, anxiety, depression. Next slide. SAD. I thought I'd give it an acronym that would stick with you. Thank you, Joyce. Joyce is responsive. Nobody else smiles except Joyce. How come? Thank you so much for being here. Yeah. SAD. Seasonal affective disorder just jumped into my mind. Yeah. Wow. Just jumped into my mind. Because the snow stress and the cold producing SAD, seasonal affective disorder. I can't talk about it today. It's a whole different. I could send out an essay on SAD and PTSD. Yeah, would you shoot me a reminder at the end? If you said to someone, what's the big question in life? Am I happy? No, I can't make you happy. The lottery can make you happy. A new baby in the household can make you happy, but not me. So the question for me is, not contentment, but, Isabella, next slide. Am I free? What's free mean? Free of the handcuffs of stress. That's what this talk's all about. Next slide. Absence of constraints. Because what does stress do? It holds you back, it holds you back, it holds you back, it preoccupies you, you can't move around that fun. Next slide. Thomas Merton said this, the great contemplative. You ever, anyone here, Thomas Merton? Contemplative philosopher. Okay. He did a lot of good stuff as a monk. And age 43, he went into the monastery to avoid the draft. Well, he did. He went earlier, but at age 43, he thought he'd leave the monastery and walk downtown because he had a dentist appointment. So he went down to 4th and Walnut Street in Louisville. So all these people walking around, oh wow, I love these people, I gotta get out more and see people. So he got out more. He got out and he militantly demonstrated against the Vietnam War. And then that was at the age of 43, 44, something, or a little bit later. At the age of 53, he went to give a talk in Thailand, Bangkok. And he gave his talk at about 11 or so, about this time. And it was hot and he went and took a shower and he went back to his room and it was hot in the room, so he went to turn on the fan. And of course, Thailand, in those days, didn't have electronic expertise. The fan was not grounded, and it shocked him. He died at the age of 53, electrocuted in his room after a shower. Ironically, his body was in the cargo compartment of a plane coming back to the United States. And in that cargo compartment were the bodies of Vietnam soldiers. Flown back with the same kids he tried to protect with his militants. Next slide. So here we are, destroyed by stress, destroyed by meditation. You're going to learn. By the way, I'm being a little bit, lighthearted today and playing with you a little bit. This talk is a serious talk with a methodology that could make a big, big difference. A, B, C. After Boston College. There's an outflow of meditation that you guys had to show. Next slide. Oh, I have some follow-up materials on meditation. So when I send the other two, say the follow-up materials, how to do it, a nice written script on it. All right, happiness and freedom. Let's see what I'm a simple-minded guy. I'm not very smart, so I have to make things simple. That's why I'm a good teacher, because I'm not very smart. I have to make things nice and simple for me to explain to you. I got 2 smiles. Thank you so much. 3, 4, wow, contagious. Thank you, Joyce. Next slide. Keep going all the way down. You can now stop. Go back 1. The addition model I can't help you with that. The lottery can, babies can, friendships can. Next slide. Subtraction, yeah. I can't add happiness to your life, but I can subtract stress and make you free. So, this talk has a triune effect. Freedom from stress and meditation. This is what it's all about. These are the themes of the talk. And what's stress? Go all the way down. The stress field is so complicated that my low IQ required that I simplify it. And I boiled it down to 3 words. Remember that? The whole field of stress, 3 words. They're not quite so simple as they look. It's the result of some demand imposed on you that can hurt you. Makes sense? The result of a demand that can do harm. What'd you say, John? Can do. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Can do. That makes things a little bit different. Because, next slide, what you perceive is what you see is what you get. Is that something people say? What you see is what you get. Oh, how you see something is how you get it. If you see this talk as boring and stressful, and you walk out here saying, oh, my tuition money wasn't spent right. If you see this talk as important, then you get something out of it. If you see the cold as your enemy, that's true. If you go out in the cold and say, okay, it's cold, but it's brisk, and I can go in and wear a nice warm coat. So appraisal, which this 3-pound hunk of bologna between our ears gave us, the ability to think and appraise is the difference between your whole life being stressed and only 90%, no, 50%. Oh, I plagiarized that thing, stress is in the eye of the beholder, so I have to confess. I took it from Margaret, sorry. Back one. Back one. Margaret Hungerford wrote, beauty, you've heard this, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Well, I just took her phrase and put stress in the next line. This is it. It's all about out of control. What produces out of control? Unpredictability. Next slide. 2 types of stress, acute and chronic. Acute's okay. As I said in my interview on NBC television, which they didn't put on, they put 15 seconds out of a 10-minute interview. Well, if you go national, 15 seconds national is worth 10 minutes in Boston. First snowstorm, first snow pile. Oh yeah, get the snowblower, shovel, and wow, I'm a hero. I clean my driveway. Because acute stress challenges you and makes you do something that's good and achievement-oriented. But then, another snowstorm, another snowstorm, another snowstorm. That's chronic stress, not good for your body, and things get a little bit different. Next slide. That's chronic stress in the life of this 16th pilot. I'm going to show you his face at the age of 51, and his face at the age of 56, I think it is. Now they didn't have iPhones in those days. So he wasn't some selfie, and they didn't even have Polaroid cameras. They had to put plaster over his face. And they took the plaster off. The plaster mask shows his face. This is back in the 1800s. But look at this guy. He had a civil war in his hands. Abolition of slavery was an issue that was big in the United States because the South didn't want it. He had a Republican Party that would, and I can't imagine. I have 5 children, 3 boys. I can't imagine. Age 12, a son dying. I mean, I just can't get there. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. But boy died when I was in the White House. Next slide. So here's, I'm going to show you 2 pictures, 2 pictures, one at the age of 51, 1 month before he was nominated for president, and 2 months before his assassination, which means he was president for quite a while. Next slide. This is before. Remember, it's a plaster mask. This is after. And you can see how he's aged quite a bit in 5 years. Now put them together. Now the beard, cons you a little bit because the beard makes him look a little older. But you can see see the skin, the wrinkles on the skin. And I don't know, who did I do? I forget who it was. 2 other presidents, Reagan and Carter. I don't know, a couple of other presidents showed the same thing, but I don't have the data. Before they started and after, their faces are so different. Show me stress. Next slide. Next slide. Yeah, if people are our greatest source of stress, drop a drip. Get out of that relationship. Don't stay there and get beat up. Have the guy, don't wait till Czechoslovakia comes. Do it on the earth, not up in heaven. But not too fast. Because he or she may have bad breath. Buy him toothpaste and a toothbrush. Don't. They may cheat on you once. Hey, in baseball you get 3 swings at the bat. Hall of Fame. Give him another chance. Give her another chance. So drop a drip, but not too fast. Because, next slide, it's not wise to cut what you can untie. So have the person that offended you stay away from them and don't bake them any chocolate chip cookies for 2 months. But don't break off until you're sure the cost is not greater than the benefit. So I say drop a drip, but be very careful. You do it judgmentally and carefully. Next slide. Because people are our greatest sources of stress. And take a look at this. Next slide. This is based on a couple of thousand people, not my research. Holmes and Ray did this. Look at that. The top social stressors in these 2,000 people, their lives. All significant others. Amazing. Next slide. Next slide. Stress is good for survival. It motivates you to. Got you here today. Why? You want to get your degree at Boston College. You want to go out there and make money and be nice in the workplace. Don't be homework principles. Be nice in the workplace. And so, stress is good for survival. It says you get something wrong physically. It says you get something wrong emotionally. It's character building and motivate you. Character building. If you shoveled snow that first day because it's stressful to have all that snow in the driveway, you feel great about it. You achieved. I was a lifeguard once, and when I went to Bowdoin, and I was on the tower one day, and I never knew I had the guts to go save somebody. And there's this big guy in the weeds, and I jumped in to save him, and we both almost drowned. I couldn't save him. We both went under, and the boat came and saved us both. So I got an F for achievement. I got an A for courage. Yeah, I jumped in, and that built my character. It made me feel like, hey, I did it. I tried to save this guy. I then took swimming lessons more and more after that. Next slide. Oops, back up one. Yeah, this is it. The existential philosophy. I like this. Because if it kills you, you're up there with a lady spelling the word love, going into heaven and strumming a harp, banjo, what is it? Some musical instrument up there playing, and spell the word love and go through the gates and have lunch with St. Peter. If it kills you, if it doesn't kill you, you're that much stronger. So stress has a beneficial effect. Next slide. And all of life, this came out of a brainwave experiment at Tufts Medical School. I used to be at Tufts Medical in 1973. Everything in life seems to follow this inverted U. I'm just talking about stress. Low stress, you don't get out of bed in the morning. High stress, you panic and you jump off the roof. Medium stress. What did Grandma say? Everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. And I can't think of anything that doesn't follow this rule. Food, drinking, classroom. from behavior, studying everything follows this rule. Next slide. Harmful effects of stress, you know all about this. Glucocorticoids, I'm not going to touch, but boy, glucocorticoids with chronic stress go up and they beat up on your brain. The hippocampus and a few other structures in the brain which control memory get hit by glucocorticoids, which are increased by stress. So there are biological reasons why you want to do distraction meditation for the rest of your life. Do it twice a day, once a day is good. I've been doing it since 1974, when let me send out, oh no, it's going to be part of that package. The study that gave this meditation some scientific merit, a study I published on brain waves. Twice a day, 30 minutes a day. I just did it for 10 minutes. I cheated before I came here. I did it for 10 minutes because I wanted to be alive and well. So coffee plus meditation, a little pantothenic acid tablet, and I'm high as a kite. So old guys, high as a kite. Yeah, so anyway, let's go on to the next one. I'll come back to this. And of course, these you know about. Stress, these are all psychosomatic related in some way. Next slide. This is interesting. If you have a disease, you're under stress. Look at these two guys, these two baseball players. 2007, they starred for our team. Yeah, our team, Boston Red Sox. At age 25 and 22, cancer. And they came back. Look at this. They came back. So disease stress is not the end of the game. Next slide. Isabella's yawning. She wants to go home. All right, Isabella. Let's go. We're almost there. Next slide. Next slide. Go to the end. This is the key. This is the key to what stress does to you. You want to feel good, but you don't feel good. So what do? You eat up a storm, drink up a storm. Go to Mary Lou's, Mary Green's, Mary Jane's, Mary Ann's, Mary Ann's. How did you know?
I heard about it.
Oh yeah, you do. Nice house. But this is it. We do things to displace unpleasant feelings because remember, we're programmed to avoid unpleasantness. And we eat and blah, 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 blah. And laugh. Oh, laughing is good. Humor. I can't get to it today. Keep your sense of humor. Joyce can tell you all about that, but she smiles easily. So we usually give a lecture on humor, Joyce. You're good. Laughter is great. And this is the essence of our meditation. Go. One more. Avoid pain. Yep, next. Then they've done that. This is the model. This is one of the two models. Stress increases displacement activities like eating, drinking, gambling. Gambling is bad. Gambling, sex for pleasure, and then what happens is that the stress is reduced. Not bad. It works today. Next month, you're in trouble. Next slide. Eat, drink, and work. Next slide. And these are the eats. Wait a minute. Food is a psychoactive substance? Come on. Well, look at caffeine. By the way, caffeine's great. I may have a slide coming up on it. 2 cups a day, 2 or 3 cups a day. Antioxidant. Lowered liver cancer. Journal Hypertension published an article from Italy on lowered blood pressure, lowered liver disease. Coffee. 2 to 3 cups of coffee a day. I can drink only 1. I wish I could get up to 2 or 3 because it's really quite healthy for you. Really quite healthy. Alcohol, sucking on a weed. I'm sorry, smoking a cigarette. Food. Next slide. Okay, you booze, you lose. Yeah. Next slide. Oh, there we are. Okay. I think you've got this slide. Next slide. Now you can't lose with food. Food-food connection. If you eat protein, it's got tyrosine in it. What's tyrosine? An amino acid that produces norepinephrine, blah, blah, blah. And alerts you. Nice. Carbohydrates. What's in that? Tryptophan amino acid. What does it produce? Serotonin. And it makes you relaxed. You can't lose with food. That's why you lose with food, because you eat too much of it. Next slide. Next slide, next slide. Oh, okay, let's stop. Oh boy. All right. Okay, Joe Biden. I think he's got a political office in the United States. So. Isn't he Barack's buddy? When he first came in 29, he couldn't get sworn into the Senate. He went down to the cafeteria. And McClellan came up to him, 72-year-old guy, talking to 29. He goes, I heard you had some bad luck, Biden. Let's talk. He said, no, leave me alone. I said, well, I want to talk to you. He said, no, I'm okay. Biden's wife and daughter were killed in a car accident 2 months before he went there. He said, you would understand. And McClellan said, oh yeah. I was driving through the Ozark, my wife got sick and she died before I get to the doctor. I had 3 boys I had to raise. One of them was in Saudi Arabia for Aramco Oil Company, fell off the rig and got killed, was flown into the United States. I called my son and said, let's go get your brother at the airport. He got on his motorcycle and was killed on the way to the airport. I said, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. How'd you handle it? He said 4 words. When I get down in the dumps because some administrator's dumping on me, I just shit. And yet there's a guy who says, that's not all the way it should be. Guess who said this? The hardest working president we've ever had. Yeah. When he was doing the plaster masks, the guy asked him political questions, he told him jokes and funny stories. But tell me about the politics. No, crack jokes. So laughter was good for Lincoln. Why? He was a depressed man. I think he was a classic case of diathesis stress. When his girlfriend broke off the engagement, he got very depressed. But then she came back. Next slide. Next slide. Appraisal. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Oh. The greatest psychologist that ever lived. This man knew it all, and he had a tough life, by the way. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. You're lucky to be here today because there are some children hiding in shelters in the Ukraine. Children! You're lucky to be here today. You want to complain because this is a boring lecture? No, you could be in Ukraine. Next slide. Next slide. Don't go the other way. You get very jealous by appraisal. Be jealous of everybody. I have a 1999 Camry. It still works. Next slide. And so stress makes you appreciate non-stress, says the great psychologist. Next slide. And now we come to the second A is today. When you do distraction meditation, you become aware of who you are because it's quiet in this room. And by the way, would you help us pull down all the shades when we go to do it so it's nice and dark? It's quiet and there's nowhere to go but your brain. Think of a lot of things because you're going to let all the thoughts come in and give up control. Next slide. And why is that good? Because when you become aware of your problems, you reduce their impact on you. Does that make any sense? If you become aware of the negative things you do in life and what people do to you, it takes away the thorns that are sticking into you. Next slide. Now this is the one I'm really proud of. This is the only intelligent thing I've ever said in my life. Because awareness frees you from the shackles of memories, trauma, and bad thoughts. Next slide. And this is what we're going to do today. You're not going to write the script, you're going to let go. Let go of your brain and let it go all spill out everywhere. You're not going to die. I've never had anyone die. 7,000 students writing this. 7,000 students. It's a 1973 story. It was funny one day. Let's go there. Next slide. Forget this. It's fancy stuff. Attention now. The third A is the big one. Next one. I'm being cynical. These are good, but they can be overdone. No, they're good. Next slide. Back to this one, next slide, you know this, next slide. Next slide, next slide. All right, here we are. Why meditation? Because it reduces stress. Why reduce stress? Because then you don't pig out. Then you don't booze and lose. Then you don't get your friend pregnant. You control yourself a little more. You don't get pleasure-oriented all the time. Pleasure's good, laughter's good. I eat chocolate chip cookies all the time, but I work out at the Plex to work them off. Isabella's smiling. You don't believe that, Isabella? All right. Watch where I go at 12 o'clock. Next slide. Oops, back one. Oh, who's DVD girl? Yeah, sorry, DVD lady.
Yeah.
I think so. See this? This is what we're going to do today. Invite distractions to occur, because when you give the distractions in your distraction break, guess what happens afterwards? Your mind is clear. You just did your distraction thing. You had a distraction break rather than a coffee break. Okay.
I think so. I'm gonna keep our fingers crossed.
They're just going to make it. Yeah, this is awesome. 4 minutes. Oh, nice. Summer, you're good. That's great. Oh, you were great.
Right now on Chronicle in High Definition. Boston's spring ritual.
Marathon 2013.
Marred by an act of terror. Tonight, the race to find those responsible. And the way that all of us can cope with the unspeakable.
Communication and dialogue is like magic.
The Boston Marathon Attack. Next on Chronicle. This is the marathon Boston has known for 117 years. In some form or another, a day of sport and celebration and spectacle. Patriots Day, Marathon Monday. And this is what someone did to our day, our event yesterday. An entire country still trying to make sense of all of this, but how and where do you begin?
Well, my first stage is catharsis. It's a fancy word for saying, let it all hang out.
Boston College professor Joe Tetch specializes in human psychology, especially the psychobiology of stress and mental disorders. Ted Reinstein asked if he could make some sense of this horrific act.
In an act of terrorism like this, words are used like mindless, senseless, and yet it's the job of someone like yourself to sort of make sense of who would do this, why.
It's not mindless, it's not senseless, it's purposeful. Somebody was watching TV gloating over what he or she or they saw.
You think so?
Oh yes, satisfied. But it was purposeful, it was planned. That's not senseless, that's not mindless. That is targeted. That is hoping for blood to be dripping on the cement.
How do you figure that someone can do something like this?
Somewhere along the line, individuals became frustrated, resentful, mean-spirited about something that happened in their lives. And frustration always leads to some kind of aggression. And if I've lost control of my life because I'm being spat upon, the ultimate control is to take human lives away out there.
Out there is a world left trying to cope with the aftermath of this purposeful, destructive behavior. Professor Tetch has long lectured on what he calls the 4 C's. The first, catharsis.
It's a fancy word for saying, let it all hang out. Cry, stamp your foot. Why me, God? And be irrational momentarily. But don't make any important decisions during that period, and don't hurt anyone else.
Stage 2 is communicate.
Begin to talk to people and connect with people. Communication and dialogue is like magic. It makes people think differently or accept each other's ideas.
Communication leads to compassion.
Listening is the unsung hero of communication, because when you listen, you show compassion. And when you show compassion for somebody else, it reduces your own stress level. When you listen to someone patiently that you can't help, you've already helped 2 people.
The 4th C? Continue.
Continue with your life and get on with tomorrow. And what are you going to do tomorrow? Set an agenda, plan something. And why is that good? It kicks in the butt the 2 evil parts of stress. If you plan tomorrow, you've taken control over tomorrow. And what have you done? You've introduced predictability into your life.
And coming up, Ted Reinstein says the war against terrorism is a marathon itself. After this.
You want to switch back to the PowerPoint, and now we're going to meditate. I think I'm almost done. Okay, so we're going to let distractions come in, because if you take a distraction break, you become more attentive and become more focused in your attention on the outside world, and that's where the action is. Attention is where the action is. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. I would say we can go. We can just, nah, yeah, that's out. Cool it just temporarily, we might come back later. So here we go. Pretty good on time, huh? Yeah, oh, that's great. This will take about 13 minutes, and then we're done. And then some Q&A. I think we might want to spread the chairs out a little more when the time comes, but just listen up to this. This fancy lecture on all this stuff, it's down to something so simple, you're going to want your tuition money back. Now, you have a smile, I'm not going to say any other words. The key is giving up control over your thoughts. Simple, huh? We are all wanting to write the script. We all want to write the script. If you can give up some control in the next 10 minutes, 13 minutes, we'll do 10 minutes meditation, 2 minutes coming out of it. I'll leave it through. If you can just give up the script, don't write the script, give up control. Daydream. What animal brain survived in the wild? The animal who was always looking for the predator. Brer Rabbit looking out, he sees Lion King coming down the path. He's gone. The brain survived that watch for predators, so it's a scanning mechanism. We have that. Broadened attention set. Good. Bad. You couldn't pay attention to this lecture if you didn't focus your attention. So we frustrate the animal brain to listen to this lecture. We frustrate the animal brain to drive our car. We frustrate the animal brain to study. I'm saying give up and let the animal brain once or twice a day come out of its cage. And if you do, the result is you are so clearer in your focused attention. That's my message today. The only thing I need from you, I really need this badly, it has to be absolutely quiet in this room. This group is great. You're good. No, that's unusual. Here we have to say, no, you can't do that. No. Wow, you guys are good. This is going to be a powerful meditation. Do we have any coughers here? Okay, you're going to have to swallow if you feel cough. If you cough, everyone's going to get a splitting headache. I mean it. I may have to leave the room. So we take a cough break before we start. Okay, 2 things. One, let's get all the shades down. 2, Joyce, we'll shut the lights. 3, you want to spread your chairs out a little bit? Are you okay where you are, you think? All right, stay where you are. Now, yeah, turn that on. Yeah, thank you so much. Maybe I have to leave the room, just realized I'm leaving the room. If I do leave the room though, this is, for 10 minutes, you let your mind wander. You close your eyes, we'll take a cough break, we'll take a knuckle cracking break. This is all weird. And then, if I do leave the room, and I think I might, it'll be like this from the door. That'll be at the end of 10 minutes. That means you still remain quiet, but you have 2 minutes, like in a football game. You have a 2-minute warning before the game ends. And then at the end of the 12th minute, you'll hear this. Then you can scream and yell. And then at the end of another minute, because I'm not gonna stop things going, you can scream, yell, stretch, move around, but I wait another minute before I get back into reality. So 10 minutes meditation, 2 minutes slowly and quietly coming out, and then 13th minute, you just wait. So you'll hear the 3 knocks at the end of the day. Yeah, I just got a little tickle in my throat. I think I'm gonna go outside. We'll close our eyes at some point. We'll take some deep breaths and take a cough break and stuff. And then when I walk out the door, which I think I'm going to do, you'll just wait for the 3 knocks at the end of 10 minutes, 3 knocks at the end of 2 minutes, 3 knocks at the end of 1. I just saw somebody yawn. I'm just saying you can't fall asleep, because if you fall asleep with deep breathing, that'll give headaches too. Any questions before we start? Because we're in good shape on time now. We have Q&A coming up, as well as a little round table on the meditation. Oh, this is good. This is working fine. By the way, you're good. This is great. Oh, all bottles on the floor. I'm even thinking pens. Put your pens in your pocket, because if anything falls on the floor, I'd even put the paperwork, laptops on the floor. Laptops, notebooks, everything on the floor. Then there's no chance of somebody knocking something over. Everything on the floor, please. Oh, this is good. I never want to go back, you can. There's a couple of nice seats up there. Okay. So, we're going to take a couple of different things, and then at the end I'll walk out the door, and you'll hear the knocks on the door as we prescribe them. Feet flat on the floor, because if you put your feet cross-legged, you put pressure on the muscles on your legs, and it's going to distract you. If you wear glasses, you can put your glasses in your pocket, because it puts pressure on the bridge, but if you feel naked without your glasses, it's better to keep them on. What else? Feet flat. You can fold your hands if you want. I usually put mine straight away, because if you fold them, you're producing sensations in your skin, and you're going to, if you don't fold them, you're going to have an interesting experience with your hands. Anyway, don't be surprised if something weird happens. Weird is good. Just go anywhere you want, but do not write the script or you'll get a headache. All right, now, close your eyes. Let's take a big cough break. Everyone cough. Keep your eyes closed. And now, if anyone wants to take a knuckle cracking break, you can. Crack your knuckles. I know some guys like to do it, but not in this class, okay? A couple of deep breaths. Move your head around a little bit. Put the scarf on the floor, if you will. Move your head around a little bit so your neck muscles get a little bit of release from tension. And then let the thoughts go. Do not write the script. Let yourself go, and I'll knock on the door in 10 minutes. Well, the advantage of being out here is I can run interference on any noise. The lights are gonna seem bright now. My tickle in my throat, which doesn't often happen, seemed to be a setback, right? No. Setbacks in life are often the best thing that can happen. Why? It forced me out of the room, and guess what I was able to do? Keep the traffic and the noise in the hallway down. Except for Clicker Lady, she was clicking her heels. I was gonna take her shoes off. But several people came down to talk to me. Nutty guy wants the hallway closed. And then every door that opened, I closed myself quietly, except the first one got me right. Okay, so now, let's go around. So, setbacks in life. Oh, I have to leave the room. Too bad. Big loss. Setbacks are signals for you to hit a home run. Isn't that great? Here we demonstrated it just now. Going out in the hallway paved the way for a quiet home. Well, except for Clicker Lady. So, let's have some feedback. Come on, somebody have an experience. Anyone have a weird experience? Yeah.
I think at first I was trying to like keep a like dialogue in my head
Good.
with all my thoughts, but I think I eventually stopped doing that.
Don't have to stop. Let the dialogue run. Songs, let them go. Feelings, oh, let's have feelings. Come on, I know there are feelings. Hands and legs, where are they? Hands, numbness, what?
Oh, well, I was just gonna say like right here,
Yeah,
really
yeah.
tingly towards the end.
Tingly here.
Yeah.
How about any tingly down here? No, just up here. So you're tingly eyebrow lady. Where's a tingly hand, man or lady? Hand, hey, man, hand, tingly hand.
At
Yeah.
the end.
Where?
At the end, after you knocked and like,
Whereabouts?
just like palms, I guess.
Palms. Okay. How about any legs? Any lady legs? No, any men legs? No. Down here, any numbness down here? Yeah, go.
Yeah, I felt like when you knocked, I was like, all right, well maybe it's time to come out. But like I felt like I wouldn't be able to like lift my legs.
Okay, because they're kind of paralyzed or something stiff or something else. See, you're aware of all the body sensations. How about anyone feel a little movement like this maybe? Depending on, go. No, go.
Yeah, when you knocked on the door, I felt like I was swaying.
We're gonna lean forward. Anyone go back to 5 years old? Anyone go back to a previous age when you were 23? Now, come on. No one went back? Come on, somebody went back, come. All right. Anything else that you want to share with the class? Because we got a few more minutes for the Q&A. Any experience you have? Oh, saliva. Gotta have saliva. That's the most common. That's the most common thing. In fact, it's so common that the kids in class complain that they could hear the other person swallowing a lot. I said, that's good, swallowing saliva. Parasympathetic nervous system kicks in and relaxes you, and there's a saliva buildup. What happens when you're nervous and tense? Dry mouth, because the sympathetic nervous system kicks in. So any other, okay, it has to be some more saliva. It's all over the floor. Come on, there must be some saliva. No, one saliva lady? No, Isabella, yay! Isabella had saliva, another saliva lady. The rest of you are denying it, you're in denial. Which is the first stage of Alzheimer's. No. But it's good, isn't it? You can feel it building up. Okay, now when you do it on your own, close the lights. I could send some information, I can't remember, on earmuffs. They're $16, $18 at Amazon.com. I have them in my office because I'm going to take care of this. They're just very simple. Yeah, no, nothing fancy at all. Just earmuffs. No sound, no nothing, just earmuffs. $16, $18. The other ones are expensive. Put those on, or shut the lights, go to a quiet room. I ask you to shut your cell phones. Oh, we're lucky. Cell phones. Well, the students have to be shut up. Yeah.
I just wanted to comment, like initially I really had much more awareness of the sounds outside, like people
Yeah.
talking and what, but then that seemed to kind of go away after a while.
It's habituation, this is one of the slides I go. The brain habituates and turns off. Guys, hey, over here. Ladies talking. Habituation is the brain slowing down its response and stopping its response to something that doesn't matter. That's habituation. The brain does that because it's efficient. If something explodes, something, the brain alerts. But you will habituate to sounds like that. Best not to have them, clicking lady, best not to have it, but your brain habituates to that. That's good. That's good. But it's better to have it quiet because then you don't even get it at the initial stages. So, somebody has a headache because they tried to write the script. Who has a headache? Good. Anyone have a, oh, go.
No, I was going to say I had a headache before.
Yeah,
and then
that's my next question. Thank you so much for anticipating. I was just going to say, how about the other way? Tell us.
I don't know, I just like had like a really bad headache like in the beginning, and it might just be because like I've been sick.
And then the meditation
And then-
took it away?
Yeah, I just feel like more relaxed and like the pressure in my head isn't as
Oh,
great
that's
as
so
it was before.
nice. So the lecture gave her a headache, but the meditation took it away. I think that's perfect. That's perfect. Oh, that's so nice. And thank you. Thank you. No, I'm just kidding. That's common, particularly tension headaches, which are muscle tension headaches. It'll relax your muscles and take it away. Thank you so much. That's a great contribution.
I noticed that my breathing is so much more slow right now than when it was beforehand. I feel like I'm not even breathing at all. But
That's you're not breathing well.
I'm kind of aware of it.
No, that's great. There are exercises of deep breathing, but what you're saying is the meditation slowed down your breathing, and it does with me. When I start meditating, I don't know, something. So I meditate for 22 and 6. Don't ask me why. I meditate for 22 minutes. It takes me 6 minutes to come out. But in the classroom, I can't afford that time, so we do 13. But you can go more. Now, on the outside, shut the lights, try to get rid of the sounds if you can, shut the cell phone off, put a sign on the door, please do not disturb, and then go 10, 2, and 3. Get 10 minutes in, 2 minutes coming out. The 2 minutes coming out doesn't mean anything today, but it will, because you never meditated before. 10 minutes in was a lot different than the 2 minutes when you started to come out. And then slowly go back to the real world. Don't rush into the real world or you'll get a headache, but slowly. The main thing is giving up control of my thoughts. That's hard. But you guys have done it. These reports say the numbness, the feelings, the tingling, reduced headache, the slow breathing. You guys went in. I'm not going to ask how quiet the room was, because it's hard the first time to get a quiet room. But you guys did go in pretty well. I'm just surprised somebody didn't go back in time. Maybe it's the classroom atmosphere, but usually somebody goes back to teenage or 5 or something like that. You did.
No, but I just have a question because
Sure,
you
no.
define stress
Sure.
as loss of control and uncertainty. But so loss of control causes stress, but you're actually asking people to give up control in the meditation. So it's sort of
Oh, you're so
interesting.
good, Joyce. You are so good. I'm glad she came here. There is a paradox.
Yes.
When you give up control of your thoughts and your behavior, the result is you have more control when you come out of it because you just got rid of the baggage, you got rid of the distractions, you got rid of the headache, you got rid of all that stuff. So there's a wonderful paradox here, and I didn't get to it, that giving up control in like 10 or 15 minutes now gives you greater control when you come out of it. Isn't that nice? Why? Because you get rid of the distraction, get rid of the baggage. What's that all about? Counting flea legs is not the way to live your life. You don't want to be distracted by little things in life. Counting flea legs, my German friends call it. So, yes, wonderful. A wonderful paradox. Giving up control now gives you greater control because you've gotten rid of all the distractions and stuff. We have 60 seconds. Actually 120 seconds. So Q&A, anything else? the academic stuff's good and it's fun, but this is where the pay dirt is. And let me just say one more thing. This could be a significant event in your life. It's changed my life. If I didn't have meditation since 1974, when I was at Tufts Medical, running a turnpike to come up here and teach statistics, I'd be dead. I would not be alive. This just changed my life completely. It's powerful. Not tonight, not today, not tomorrow, but in a couple of months, you'll go deep, 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 and you'll see that sense of control coming out when you come out of it. Now, am I exaggerating? No. Not 7,000 students later, I know my way around town. I make them write meditation essays at the end of the semester. And the meditation essays, I know that they're shoveling, you know what, to get the grade 8, I know that. But despite the shoveling, there is some truth to what they say because they're repetitive stories. I wish I had shown you these. We don't have time for a slide, do we? You just comments from BC students. Just give me 60 seconds for that slide. That would be wonderful if I could show you the BC students' comments. You ready with your clicker? I think I'll take the clicker to show the class that I'm not clicker photoing. What button do I press? Which one? This one? Okay. Yeah, just let me show you the comments from the BC students and I'll stop. Because they are very telling. Very telling. Okay, good. Thank you. Done. These are the behaviors that have been changed over the semester. Isn't that nice? Reduced alcohol intake. Mary Ann's, is it? Reduced visits to Mary Ann's. Cigarettes, sweets. Oh, I don't like the third one. I want my house cookie, chocolate chip cookies. That's not good. Nail bite. And then exercise. They go to the Plex. I teach at 6 o'clock at night. And they go to the Plex after that 6 o'clock class at 8:30. Studying is increased, and they get to sleep better. They get to sleep better at night because you get all the distractions out of the meditation. So what I call this pillow effect. You know, when you put your head down the pillow, what happens? The whole day rushes into your head about what you could have done, should have done. Freud called it the day's residue. And so that decreases. Now watch this. This girl had panic attacks and stuff. This girl saved the day for her. Oh, and there's another one too. Yeah. And there's your control, Joyce. Avoid. And this girl was doing good for everyone around her, but she wasn't good to herself. Her self-esteem was low. She started being nice to herself. Like Bobby Orr, the famous hockey player from the Bruins. Anyone ever hear of Bobby Orr? When he had a bad game, which wasn't often, he'd go out and he'd treat himself to a zany hat or a suit, just to say, I'm still good even though I didn't score that goal. Now you gotta watch out for this because if you stop smoking, what happens? You start eating more, but not always. Isn't that nice? Anyway, that's the end of it. Oh, no. Good. Last one. Meditation time. Okay, it's time to meditate. Close the light. Thank you. Good luck. And if you want to shoot me an email, you can. If you're doing the meditation, shoot me an email and say, oh, I can't do this. What's wrong with me? And I'll give you a little counsel on the email.
I just wanted to remind everyone, if you have questions about the paper, to please read the instructions in terms of the syllabus and also the PowerPoint slides first.